CATIA Essential Training, Part 10, we are going to discuss mirroring and symmetry within the Sketcher workbench. So let's get into CATIA. I will define a new part. So within part design, and I will enter the Sketcher workbench. So the mirror and the symmetry options are available over here under operation. You can also find them at the top if you're going to go up to insert, operation, transformation, and we're going to have the mirror and the symmetry. So to get started, I will define some elements that we are going to mirror around. So a circle, a rectangle, and also an ellipse. I will start by using the mirror feature. So we can see that we can activate it like this by clicking on that icon. And if you're going to read to the left of the screen, we're going to see that we have to select the sets of elements to be duplicated by symmetry. So I can either click on this on the element like this, but as soon as I click on one, we're going to see that afterwards we are inputted to select the line or axis for which the elements will remain equidistant. So in this case, I will select the vertical axis. And we're going to see that that circle will be mirrored along the vertical axis. We can also define additional axes, either by using the profile axis that we discussed in a previous video, or we can use a line. So I will define a line like this. Again, I will mirror the same circle around the newly defined axis. We're going to see that this will be that mirrored element. I will delete that for now. If you want to mirror multiple elements at once, you can just click once on the mirror, and afterwards, using the mouse cursor, I'm going to hold down the left click in order to do a trap selection. And within that trap selection, I can select the desired elements. Afterwards, I will select the line axis reference. In this case, will be that one, and we're going to see that those elements will be mirrored at the bottom. If you're going to expand the tree, we're going to see that we have additional geometry over here, so we have those ellipses defined. You can also select them over here. So if you don't want to select objects by dragging a rectangle, you can select them over here. So for example, I want the circle, I want the ellipse, I want to mirror them, I want to mirror them around the axis, and those will be mirrored. Also keep in mind that any constraints that are added will also be mirrored. So for example, I will define this circle over here. I don't want to have it constrained to anything else. So 35 distance towards the axis, and afterwards I will mirror this around the axis. So that offset will be also over there. It will not be added directly as a constraint, but this is what the mirror does. So it will maintain that same distance. Okay, so that's for mirroring. And now let's take a look at the following one, which is symmetry. So for symmetry, again, I will draw some elements, for example, a circle. If I will activate symmetry, again, I will need to select the profile that I want to have the symmetry, and afterwards the axis. And we're going to see that for the circle, it will maintain that same distance from the origin. So it basically works the same as the mirroring, just that it will delete the original element. I will also draw an axis over here. Let's make the axis coincident with that point. And I will also draw a rectangle over here. So let's take a look at this. I will select the mirror. Afterwards, I will select the rectangle, and now I select the axis. And we're going to see that it mirrored that around the axis, so we have this newly defined shape at the top. But as we can see, that distance is way higher. So if I will go with mirror, select that, afterwards the axis, this will be the exact location. But for some reason, symmetry for the same element around in that will move it over here. Now we see that if I applied it again, it managed to update that. And we have the newly updated position. So I've noticed that symmetry in some cases is a little bit buggy, depending on your selection. I mostly intend to use mirror and afterwards just delete the other side if not needed. Maybe this is only specific to my CATIA version. For example, if I will create unsymmetry, select, okay, so I want both profiles, so I will redo that. Symmetry, draw a larger rectangle, afterwards select the axis. This is the, let's say, mirrored effect that was obtained, so not exactly what I was expecting. I will draw over here another line and a circle, and in this case for circles usually it does that mirror and delete of the original element, but for rectangles in some cases the rectangle will be aligned to the axis. So I will select again symmetry. We're gonna see that this is considered to be symmetrical, the profile symmetrical to that, so it just moved the profile over here. Quite weird. I will undo that. So go over here. I will select this to be a construction element, and again I will mirror the same element using the symmetry command, not mirror. And I again obtain that profile. If for some reason I will redraw a different shape over here, so I will maintain that parallelism from the axis, mirror the same profile. So for this it worked as intended, and we have that mirrored distance. If I'm gonna check the distance, this was 35.5, but initially we had a lot different, so only 10. Let me put this to 50. Again, have that selected, mirror it around. Again, we have some kind of centering with this symmetry feature. While the mirror options works perfectly, and we're gonna have that same exact result. So I'm not sure why exactly CATIA does this. Maybe, as I said before, it's from the build version, because it should not always align those. Let's try over here once more time. Once again, we're gonna have the symmetry towards this, so this will not be symmetrical to that, or like this. Basically, I'm usually using just the normal one, which is called mirror, and afterwards you can just delete the original element like this, and afterwards you can just have that deleted if you only want it on one side, or you can make it as a construction element, because the mirrored element will not be as a construction. So let me know in the comment section, why is symmetry working like that and not like mirror, because within the documentation they should work the same. So over here I have the documentation. We see that the former functionality associated to this command is available through mirror command. So mirror works like this. We have the axis and we have that equidistant distance. But for some reason within symmetry, in some cases we're gonna have some alignment. So I did a lot of testing before to see this. We see this two-side selection. If we have those two elements, they will all also be, let's say, taken into account. So in this case, that rectangle will be rotated like this according to that axis. And if you're also gonna use some constraints, keep in mind that those also will be kept. So we see over here we have a constraint, we have an axis, and the newly profile will be at the same angle as the original one. Okay, so I hope you find this video useful. If you have any tips regarding the symmetry, because in older versions it used to work just like Mirror, it didn't have that align, let me know in the comment section what exactly is difference within this build. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video from this course.